So hello and welcome to this section on convolution neural networks. So today we are going to cover off the plan of attack, how we are going to learn everything in this section. So there are so much to learn. Let's see how we are going to approach this. All right. So what we will learn in this section. First of all, we will talk about what convolution neural networks actually are. Very important to understand the end goal that's you are working towards before you actually start working towards it. So we will hear about features. We will have a look at how a few little examples. So we will compare the human brain to artificial neural network in terms of image recognition. Then we will talk about step one is nothing but diving straight into it, which is nothing but convolution neural network. Then step two, we are having here in this particular convolution neural network, in order to first understand, we are considering the several steps that we need to go through in order to build a convolution neural network. So this first step, which is nothing but the convolution neural network operation, we will learn everything about feature detection, which also called as a filters. We will talk about features maps and what are the different parameters there that you are going to consider here. Then we are considering here about the step one part B, the ReLU layer, which is rectified linear unit. And we will talk about why linearity is not good and how we want more non-linearity in our network for image recognition. Then we will talk about in step two, which is nothing but pooling, and we will understand how pooling works. We will talk specifically max pooling, and I will also mention here a couple of things about mean pool and sum pool and other approaches that we can take to the process of pooling. Also in this lecture, we will have a really cool examples. So there will be very visual interactive tools that we are going to look at. So make sure to stick around to the end of this particular lecture, so that because what I'm telling you, that's going to add a lot of value to your learning process, what we are going to discuss at the end there. And in the step three, flattering. So in this, we are going to understand on how process from your pool layers to your flatter layers. And then we are going to talk about full connection. So this is very important session that puts everything together and how those finer neurons understand how to classify image, right? So very important session, and hopefully that will summarize our put everything together for you. And finally, we will have a summary which will summarize everything we have talked about. And as an extra little features I have included in this session is nothing but softmax and cross entropy. So these are the terms that you will come across when dealing with convolution neural network. So let's start with this first unit, which is nothing but first part, which is nothing but convolution neural network. So let's talk about today. We are going to consider this particular neural network, which is nothing but we are dive straight into it. So we are looking straight off with an image. What do you see when you look at this image? Do you see a person looking at you, or do you see a person looking on the right? So you can see that your brain is struggling. It's struggling to adjust, right? So if you look to the right side of the image, just look at the right border of the image, you will see a person looking to the right. If you look at the left border of the image, you will see a person looking at you. So this just proves that what our brain is looking for when we see things in the features, right? So depending on the features that is sees, depending on the feature that you process and you categorize the things in certain ways. So when you look at the right side of the image, you see certain features of the person looking to right, because they are closer to your center of focus, and therefore your brain classifies it as a person looking to the right. When you look at the left side of the image, you see more features of a person looking at you, and therefore your brain is classified it such as. So let's have a look at another one. This is a very famous image. You probably have already seen it, but what what do you see here? Some people will say that they are see a young lady wearing a dress looking away. Some people will say that there an old lady wearing a scarf on her head looking down, right? So I'm going to point these features and you will see that will become very obvious. That is the face of the young lady and you're looking away. She is looking into the distance. That's her coat. That's her hair. That's a little feather in her hair. And on the other hand, this is the hair of the old lady looking down. That's her nose, that's her mouth, that's her chin, that's the scarf of her head, and she's looking down. So you can see it's depending on your brain what you pick up, right? So the oldest one is this illusion recorded in the printed work is this one. This is the duck and with the rabbit, right? So this is the duck which consider over here and which is the rabbit you have to consider here. So another example, another, now I'm going to show you an image which will just for a second just look at it and see what emotions or what kind of experience or visual experiences you go through. So what do you see? Do you feel like a bit not dizzy, right? But a bit dazzled, like your brain is trying to understand what it is. What it is, that means you're trying to considering and it's jumping between her eyes up and down. Eyes, it's a classic example of when there are certain features where it could be this or it could be that or but your brain cannot decide because both seems possible, right? So basically all these examples illustrate to us how the brain works, that it processes certain features on an image or whatever you see in a real life and it classifies that such as, okay, classify as such according to the what things you understand. And you are probably been in a situation where you look over your shoulder quickly and you see something, you think it, I don't know, but it's like a ball or but it turns out to by a cat, or you think it's a car but it turns out to a particular shadow, things like that, right? So that's because you don't have enough time to process those features or you don't have enough features to classify things as such. So and this for me, this is very interesting because you were going to do with a convolutional neural network is very is similar to you find that way that the way that computers are going to be processing images is going to be extremely similar to the way we are processing images. So it's very valuable to understand and just kind of remember these things that this is how we do it. So here is some different something different. I have experiment here, an experiment, right? And this experiment done on a computer on the convolutional neural network. So we are slowly moving now from the human to computer. This slide is from our talk of basically the name of the author is Jeffrey Hinton, and her and here you have basically it describes an experiment that he had done on some convolutional neural network that he had trained up. So here you can see these images, and we are gonna to gone through from left to right and see how you would classify them and then see them how the computer classified them. So on the left, what do you think this is basically? So you probably said cheetah and you would be right, and this what the computer said right away, right off that bat. Or we are going to learn how to read these images, because if you are going to go deep into the convolutional neural network, no pun intended, you are going to start learning more and more about them and using them. You will a lot of these, and I have actually seen people read them incorrectly. So there at the top, cheetah is. So it what it actually is. So that's the actual correct label of the image. That's what the label of the image is, regardless of any processing and computer vision. So and there are, you can say, guesses, the top 4 of the 5 something guesses of the algorithm, and they are given the probability. So the computer said, or neural network said cheetah, leopard, snow leopard, or Egyptian cat. It could be one of the 4 of the cheetah has been highest vote, right? So, and throughout this part of the course, you will understand what these votes means and how they are derived. But for now, it's pretty intuitive, right? So it's cheetah in really and neural network guesses right. It's said with the high probability about 95 to 99% it's cheetah. Then the second one is what you can see here is a bullet train. So bullet train is basically considered here where neural network was able to distinguish between the bullet train, passenger car, subway train or electronic locomotive. So those are the top choices. Those are the basically the top choices of the course. It had may more options. So these neural networks learn to distinguish between which is nothing but just neural network learn to distinguish from not just four categories from dozens. It has dozens, thousands of categories at the same time. So those are the four options that it picked. So that's a bullet train and it's bullet train. So what do you think the last one is? So there are a couple of options. It's not very clear what it is, right? So it could be frying pan, could be a magnifying glass, or it could be even maybe a pair of scissors, some might say, right? So well, the neural network said it was a pair of scissors. So, but you can see how you can go wrong here. First of all, it's not a very clear image. And also you can see that the probabilities are not as clear here. So the neural network was a bit confused, just as we are. So it said scissors with the highest probability, but then it had a hand glass, which is actually was. So it's so far away the second place and the frying pan and stethoscope. So basically here you can see the scissors was its first guess, but the correct option was number 2. That is nothing but why it's highlighted in a red. So there we go. That's what neural network are already capable of, and it's actually quite as old as this was several years ago. So now we are having better, and you will see how the practical applications that you will be know the coding. So now let's try and what convolutional neural network actually are and why they are gaining so much popularity and they actually are gaining popularity basically. So you can see here a Google Trends comparison I did yesterday only. So here you can see that convolutional neural networks are even taking over artificial neural networks. So massive increase is over here, and this is just gonna keep going to the way because it is very important field. This is very all things are happens. So such as self-driven cars, how do they recognize people on the road, how they recognize stop signs and things like that. So how is Facebook able to tag images or people in the images and not just remember previously years ago you had an tag how yourself, right? So basically you are considering here the things which is to be get considered here that how you recognize the faces. You would have the names and how it recognize the face and adds the name at that time. So well, that is what the convolutional networks are capable of. So let's understand first of all, this is the person you can see here in the picture. Basically, and speaking of the Facebook, if we can consider the author is Hinton is a godfather of the artificial neural network and deep learning. Then Jan LeCun is the grandfather of the convolutional neural network. So here we can see Jan LeCun is a student of Geoffrey Hinton. In fact, here you can see them as a together. So Geoffrey Hinton now is pioneering deep learning at Google. Jan LeCun is a director of the Facebook Artificial Intelligence Research and also a professor at NYU. So slowly we are building up these names on or this picture of the profile. So see here, you can slowly, we are building up these names or this picture of the profiles on the people who are driving this field basically. And in the next couple of parts, we will get to know about a few more and more, few more of the things about these people, and you will learn a bit more about how this whole world or whole field is developed by this. Yeah, so right, so let's consider. So Jan LeCun back in 80s and 90s made significant contribution to the field of convolutional neural network, and as we will see throughout this course, has been able to develop or helped the world to develop something so extremely powerful. So moving on, the how convolutional neural network works. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. You have an input image. It goes through the convolutional neural network, and you have an output level. So it classifies that images as something like a cheetah or a bullet train or something else. So now going into the bit more detail. For instance, after a neural network has been trained up or certain images on a certain classified images or categorize the images that have been categorized prior. So after that, you can give it, let's say, a neural network has been trained up to recognize facial expressions, emotions, you can say. So you can give a face of a smiling person, not just a drawing of a face like this, but an actual face of a person smiling, and it will tell you that that person is happy. And you can give it as a face as a person that's sad, and it will tell you that the person is sad. It can recognize these emotions, and you can see that's already very powerful in terms of so many different applications. Just of this one example you can think of right away, and in both cases it will gives you a probability. It won't say with 100% that the person is happy or sad. It will just say 99 or 98% or maybe 80% when it will be unclear of what's going on, just like we are, right? So sometimes we can make we can mistake things for what they are not, or sometimes we can sometimes it's just not clear if the person is smiling or sad, or it's a dog or a cat, or it's train or a bullet train. Sometimes we haven't seen enough features. So it all goes down to features, because that's how we process virtual information, as we saw from the start of this particular session. So but how the neural network works, how a neural network able to recognize these features. So well, it all starts it at a very basic level. Let's say you have an image, you have two images, one is black and white image, the two by 2 pixels, and one is colored image by 2 pixels. Well, neural network leverage the fact that the black and white image is a two-dimensional array. So the way we see it right now on the left is just the visual representation, just some kind of picture, and for simplicity sake it's say just a 2 by 2 picture, but in a computer terms it's actually a two-dimensional array with a very single one of those pixels having a value between 0 to 255, and that's 8 bit of information. 2 to the power of 8 is nothing but 256, so therefore the value are from 0 to 255, and that's the intensity of the color. And in this case the color white, so 0 will be completely black pixel and 255 will be completely white pixel. And between them, you have a grayscale range of possible option for this particular pixels. And based on that information, computer are able to then work with the image. And that's kind of like the straight point, that's any image has a digital representation, has a digital form, and those are just basically one and zeros, right? So that the form from 0 to 255, even a single pixel, that's what the computer works with. It doesn't actually work with the colors or anything. It works with the ones and zeros at the end of the day. So that's kind of foundation of it all. And in the color image, it's actually a three-dimensional array. You have got a blue layer, green layer, and red layer. So that's the stand for RGB, which is nothing but red, green, blue. And each one of these color has its own intensity. So basically a pixel has three values assigned to it. Each one has of them is between 0 to 255, and therefore you can find out what the image and what color exactly this pixel is by combining these three values. And again computer are going to working with that. So that's the foundation of all it. So that's nothing but red channel, green channel, and blue channel. And finally, let's have a look at the, for instance, for example, very trivial example of a smiling face is a computer terms. If we just figuratively simplify things, instead of having 0 to 255, or instead of having those values, just to that we can understand things better and really grasp the concept. So we are going to say 0 is white and 1 is black, right? So we are just going to simplify things to the extreme, and you will see that that image can be represented like that. So the reason why we brought this up in this is because we are going to structure on an image like this, which are very simple, but at the same time, then you have all those concepts can transcend this particular part. So here we are having additional reading that is to be required, where we are considering that the steps we are going to go for this particular images are: step number 1, convolution; 2, max pooling; 3, flattering; and last one is full connection. So, and I can imagine that probably none of these words means much to you at this particular moment, but at the end of this particular course, you will understand them. So for now, the additional reading that you might want to look into, Yan Lucan original paper that gave you the rise to the convolution neural network is called Gradient-Based Learning Applied to Document Recognition. You may have seen this image before floating around and on the particular internet. It's from that particular paper. So if you want to go back to the very beginning of how it happened, where it all comes from, then this is the paper to look into.